as a parent, I will feel very responsible for sending my child to jail.
Singapore's population ages. Legislation has to keep up with the needs and demands of the people. And one of these needs is protection. Upholding a stand against becoming a welfare state, the government of Singapore rolled out its controversial Maintenance of Parents Act, or MPA. So what makes the MPA so controversial? In essence, it allows a parent who feels has been financially neglected by his children to sue them for a monthly sum to pay for bills, food, medical needs, or whatever that may be deemed necessary. So why is this so controversial? Some feel that this is the government's way of legally enforcing filial piety. The MPA was recently amended by MP Mr. Seah Kian Peng to include a social welfare aspect by giving the Tribunal for Maintenance of Parents the ability to refer applicants for counselling. However, the process for application is still long and arduous. Allow me to elucidate. First, a parent over 60 who wishes to file for maintenance submits an application for maintenance to the Tribunal for Maintenance of Parents along with his financial history, contact details, and the contact details of his children. If this application is accepted, then he may attend a mediation session where the child is invited to discuss plans for maintenance, guided by a conciliatory officer. This is an out-of-court settlement and is optional. However, failure to present oneself is noted by the Tribunal for Maintenance of Parents. If the mediation session fails, then a legal settlement must be reached in which the parent and child both have to attend a hearing presided over by 3 people from the tribunal, who will weigh all the given factors and circumstances and come to a decision on how much maintenance is to be awarded to the parent. The process is not over yet, as if the child defaults on his monthly payment, the parent may choose to file for an enforcement order, which may land the child in jail or get him fined. As you can see, the process for the MPA is not easy and can be emotionally ravaging. The 2 key areas which are particularly stressful are the mediation sessions, which can end up with both parties not talking to each other for the whole session, or unable to face each other and have to resort to a long and drawn-out process of communicating through the conciliatory officer. The other area would be enforcement, where the danger of getting one's child jailed and the stigma of washing one's own dirty laundry in public may seem so great that the parents refuse to file for enforcement, even when their financial situation is dire. We asked working parents how they felt regarding the application and mediation process.
Some people find that the system for applying for maintenance is troublesome. What do you think? And note that you have to provide your own contacts for your children. You have to provide a detailed financial history of yourself.
Yeah, I think it all depends because depending on how literate and how knowledgeable the parents are. So if the parents are educated, they have all the information that they need. It's actually not a troublesome process. Okay. So I'm assuming that somewhere in the government department that's handling this, they will have people to help those old folks who maybe cannot read English, cannot write English, are not very clear about what they have, what they don't have. And I assume that they will get some help in filling out all the paperwork.
Yes.
Yes, I do think that it is rather troublesome because it seems to be a lengthy process. And if I am not being maintained by my child, which also means to say that I lack financial resources. So how am I going to go through this lengthy process where what I need is immediate solution to my financial need?
I think this process sounds like it would take a very long time. You know, meanwhile, while I'm waiting for my application to be processed, how am I going to pay for my daily living expenses? So yes, I think this system is very troublesome.
As you can see, the process may be troublesome for some, especially those who have not kept track of such things for a very long time, and those who do not have the ability to do so. And some feel that the entire process will be particularly straining on their emotions. Well then what about enforcement and the notion that the MPA was a means of enforcing filial piety? This was their response.
Some people feel that the Maintenance of Parents Act is the government's way of enforcing filial piety. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't think the government is enforcing filial piety. The government is basically saying, like what Papa said, that the first duty of care is within the family, and who is within the family is the dependent, the children, right? why should the government step in? I really think this is the government way of making sure that looking after old and sick parents does not become the job of the government.
But at the same time, if the few cases that have come to court, if the parents have been remiss in their maintenance of the family, also the judge
The parents
has not
don't always
enforced.
win, you know. If
Yeah.
the parents have not looked after the children, have not acted on the duties of the parent has no claim.
You cannot force filial piety. You can't force it. Filial piety comes from the heart. And a lot of time is an emotional decision, not a financial decision. Whereas if you want to, under the act, you want to get the child to pay you for your financial need, there is a financial decision.
You know, I think the MPA doesn't really enforce filial piety. I think it only makes the children pay their parents' money. To me, filial piety isn't just about money at all. It's about being respectful and grateful to your parents for their upbringing. It's a value that cannot be enforced by law. No one can coerce someone into being a filial child.
Once again, they felt that it would be emotionally ravaging for them to enforce, even more so than the mediation sessions. Their views on filial piety were very representative of Asian values and believed that it was something that could not be enforced. Therefore, the MPA for them was just a means for the government to enforce financial protection for the elderly, and thus a necessary evil. In a telephone interview with Assistant Secretary Mr. Ang Cheng Soon at the Tribunal for Maintenance of Parents, he confirmed that parents did not like to bring such personal family issues to the legal setting. However, he also mentioned that mediation was not always an antagonistic issue, and that some successes did end with both parties smiling and happy. He also did mention that to monitor the financial situation of the parents, the tribunal employs a team of social workers to go around Singapore conducting regular checks on the parents. However, we feel that more can be done to prevent the miscommunications between the two parties during the mediation process, where the two parties communicate through the conciliatory officer. As one of our interviewees pointed out, such a method has a high potential for error.
Can do it, but the postman in between can change the message
Correct.
while moving back and
And
forth.
then he can also, maybe he's saying the right thing, but if the child changes his mind, then he can later say, I didn't say.
Thus, we propose that a recording be put in place to prevent the miscommunications between the two parties. We hope that the MPA will continue to protect the rights of the elderly and the neglected. However, all this must be done with a light touch, something that is uncharacteristic of the Singapore government. It's me, Shrey, and I'm signing off.